Good morning and half a day. The Committee on General Government Operation and Appropriations now called to order. Today is May 13. The time now is 10 o'clock. In compliance with the open government law, the notice for this public hearing were posted on the Gov Guam public notice portal on GTA TV channel 21 and Docomo channel 117 and live stream on the Guam Legislature YouTube, and disseminated via email to all senators and all main media broadcasting outlets on Thursday, May 2nd, and again on May 9th. A reminder again, today is May 13th, the time is 10 o'clock. In compliance with, in reference to Bill number 236-37 COR, Committee on Rules, by request of I Magaʹhågan Guåhan, the Governor of Guam, in accordance with the Organic Act of Guam, an act making appropriations for the operation of the executive branch of the Government of Guam for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, making other appropriations and establishing miscellaneous and administrative provisions relative to the University of Guam. So we'll be entertaining the University of Guam budget. At this time, I ask the members of the University of Guam panel to rise and be placed under oath by the Sergeant Arm. Madam President, whoever else is going to speak needs to be here to be sworn in. Okay? Sergeant Arms?
Please raise your right hand. Under penalty of perjury, do you all affirm that any and all information you provide today, whether it be verbally, electronically, and in writing, be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Mr. Chair, you're under oath. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. General rules for this budget hearing. Please provide my legislative staff with any document for photocopying and distribution. Panel members are asked to remain in the room for questions or for additional testimony as may be desired by members of the committee. Questions and testimonies shall be confined to the substance or nature of the agenda, which is specifically the budget of the University of Guam. Personal inference as to the character of the motive of any senator or any individual testifying is not permitted. Any violation of this general rule of conduct will result in removal from the budget hearing room. Proper form and decorum shall be practiced by all present in the public hearing room for these proceedings. Individuals who fail to maintain proper form and decorum will be restricted from participating and will be removed from the room. When you speak, please make sure that the microphone is on and that you speak into the microphone. Please state your name and your title for the record. Once you introduce yourself, one time, that's the only time you introduce yourself. And at any other time throughout the hearing, you don't need to repeat who you are. Okay? And with that, I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues that have joined me, the Oversight Chair of the University of Guam, Senator Amanda Shelton, and Senator Chris Dueñas. Good morning, sir. Morning, ma'am. I'd ask the University of Guam, Madam President, to give her opening statement and introduce the panel, please.
Okay. Buenas din hafaday manana situs, Mr. Chairman San Agustin, honorable members of the Guam Legislature, Guahu Sinita Borja Enriquez, President Gilja Universidad Guåhan. I am Anita Borja Enriquez. I am the President of the University of Guam. I am joined by my wonderful colleagues and student leaders on this panel, beginning to my left with the chairwoman of the University of Guam's Board of Regents, Sandra McKeever. To her immediate left is our newly elected Vice President of the University of Guam's Student Government Association, Kiana. Yes, her last name is Ardiente. Yes, thank you very much. To my immediate right is our Senior Vice President and Provost, Dr. Charlene Santos Bamba. To her immediate right is our Vice President for Finance Administration, Sia Randall Wiegand. And we are here to present our fiscal year 2025 request. Sijus Masi for this opportunity to provide testimony on behalf of the University of Guam's FY 2025 budget request. Together with my colleagues from the university community, we are committed to the continued success and advancement of our institution and extend our appreciation to this body for your support of our mission to deliver public value. The proposed FY 2025 budget request is essential to achieving this purpose. The university is respectfully requesting a $44.9 million general operations appropriation. We continue to take the approach of presenting to this body a realistic and complete budget request that allows the institution to deliver quality academic programs and research opportunities that are impactful to our island and region. While our request is $13.8 million more than what was appropriated in fiscal year 2024, it is in line with our previous budget request of $42 million, which includes basic operational costs that keep the university moving forward, to include utilities costs, personnel, copier leases, and insurance, as well as audit costs. We have also included in our request $1 million to jumpstart funding for strategic IT initiatives and $1 million to address deferred maintenance and capital outlay. Amid financial constraints, our institution has done its best to be resourceful, to supplement operational costs while still delivering quality work, growing our programs, and creating a positive impact in our community and region. As a land-grant institution, we have utilized federal match dollars to supplement or to fund 21 faculty and support staff that cost our government around $1.7 million. These same faculty for fiscal year 2023 are expected to garner grants and contracts that will exceed $4.5 million annually. That is a 164% return on the government's investment. While funds from grants and contracts cannot go back to support operational costs, they are used to create more jobs and conduct community outreach and conduct research based on identified community needs. Our Dr. Margaret Paris Hattori Uchuma School of Health continues to produce a significant amount of the island's health professional workforce through the health science, nursing, and social work programs. With 17 full-time faculty and support staff, the School of Health has serviced close to 1,000 students this academic year alone. Over the past 10 years, the School of Health has produced 260 health professionals, 255 registered nurses, and 225 social workers. All of these have been done with the $2 million used to support our faculty and staff at the School of Health. In addition to its stellar graduates, School of Health faculty and staff have acquired over $10 million over the past 8 years in external funds to support research and health delivery programs such as dementia training for caregivers, providing additional value to our academic programs and our students' experiences. The impact made by our UOG Marine Laboratory continues to provide meaningful research and support to our island and region. With $1.9 million of UOG's operational budget supporting 14 faculty and staff, Marine Lab faculty have garnered grants and contracts in the amount of $23.4 million for FY 2023. Although these funds cannot go to support the base operations, they continue to make waves in our community by supporting undergraduate and graduate students through scholarship and part-time jobs. I want to ensure you that every dollar spent is used responsibly and effectively to further our mission and to benefit the people of Guam. Your university is truly an investment to produce our island's workforce. Our faculty, which represents 35% of our total operational budget, have contributed to the production of our island's teachers, nurses, social works, IT professionals, data scientists, accountants, environmentalists, and healthcare specialists, just to name a few. In addition to helping develop our workforce professionals, the university continues to conduct research that supports mitigating invasive species, protecting our natural resources, conducting cancer research, preserving our coral reefs, among other critical areas. Our budget request seeks funding to continue our efforts in extension work, where we are working to mitigate childhood obesity, providing elderly care training, and supporting our farmers. Our $44.9 million request supports these efforts, and we are in dire need of your help to approve this amount of funding to continue. I also want to shed some light on our facilities. There is much excitement to see 4 new buildings on campus soon, but I would be remiss if I did not mention that the remaining parts of our university need help. Prior to this current construction, our last building brought online was in 2006, nearly 18 years ago. In our budget request, we submitted a listing of maintenance and capital projects totaling $16.4 million. We are only requesting $1 million in FY 2025 to begin working on priority projects. These projects have been long overdue and include fixing elevators that are on their last legs at the College of Natural and Applied Sciences the School of Health. The CNAS generator repairs and maintenance to the humanities and English building skylight roofs. While the university has been good financial stewards and worked towards diversifying our revenue streams, it is highly important that the university be approved a greater amount than $31 million as not to avoid any budget deficits. We would not be able to diversify revenue, raise capital funding, or make changes to our academic programs unless we continue the hiring of all of our much-needed employees and keep the lights on and water running in our buildings. Remaining at the level of previous fiscal year appropriations would cost the university to enter into financial exigency. We can no longer balance our budgets by utilizing funds for other purposes of deferring hiring and our maintenance projects. And we work hard to ensure our students do not feel the concerns as learning continues in the classroom. But we do need additional funding to help us pay for items that are considered fixed costs. In addition to the university general operations, the Student Financial Assistance Program is requesting $4.5 million to fund more students through the approved programs. These programs support approximately 292 students, and with the additional monies being requested, we hope to support 230 more in financial need. We are confident we can do more if flexibility were provided to do so, and are kindly requesting to be given the flexibility to provide the scholarships to other programs after prioritizing the awards indicated in law. The university has been grateful for the opportunity in to assist in managing operations of the Guam Cultural Repository. We are respectfully requesting an appropriation of $2 million that will successfully get us through the remaining of fiscal year 2025, given that there are remaining funds to be spent through the America Rescue Plan funding. As construction continues for the Student Success Center and the School of Engineering Annex, the university kindly requests a separate appropriation for the leases of the two buildings, be a separate appropriation as it is anticipated payments will begin this coming year. Sandanklo na agradecimiento por todo o nisso potential. Most respeto, Anita Borja Enriquez, President. Excuse Masi.
I'd like to also thank you, Madam President. I'd like to recognize also a colleague that has joined us, Senator Tello Tadigui. Madam President, I'm just survived that Randy still survived the women's takeover at the UOG. So I just thought I'd throw that out. Because I see the minutes on one side and there's only two men on this side. I guess they're the smart men on this side. But anyway, is there anyone else going to testify?
Yes, Madam Chair will present.
Esteemed Senators Hafaday and good morning. My name is Sandra McKeever, and I am honored to serve as the chairman of the Board of Regents. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony on behalf of the University of Guam for its fiscal year 2025 budget request. The university is requesting $44.9 million for its general operation. And as you have heard from the president, it's really to elevate our professional workforce, drive upward social mobility for our community, and it's really to enhance the quality of life on Guam. I grew up in Guam and attended Maria Ulloa Elementary. Then I went to F.B. Leon Guerrero Middle School to finally graduate from Simon Sanchez as a Simon Sanchez Shark. But moreover, I am a proud alumni of the University of Guam. Presently, I am an owner of one of the very few wealth and investment firms on this island. And I've been privileged to contribute to the financial well-being of individuals and organizations here. Reflecting on my personal and professional journey, UOG has played an invaluable role in my development. It equipped me with the tools and the knowledge and the mindset steeped in critical thinking and fortitude that laid the foundation of my accomplishments. I'm very proud to say that 50% of my firm's workforce is they're my fellow UOG graduates, which is really a testament to the university's profound impact on shaping talent, which we really need here on Guam right now. However, UOG's importance goes beyond personal success stories. It really serves as a catalyst for opportunity and enhancing the quality of life here on Guam. Through its commitment to developing leaders and problem solvers, the university addresses critical needs within our community. The work of the university directly impacts our daily lives, such as cancer research that President Enriquez talked about, advocating for individuals with disabilities, providing training for people with dementia, which is really close to my heart because my mom has dementia, and I've personally benefited from the training and the education they provide for support people for people with dementia. Also, the university really works hard to protect our island, like the WIRI for our ground water, and just also for food preservation, protection, and cultivation for our farmers. We know we're very, very susceptible for, if ships don't come to Guam, how long will our food supply last? We're working hard to also look at that. And also our natural resources, we need sustainable and responsible use of our resources. And the university works hard to do that. There's an inspired quote, and it says, "If you build it, they will come." And that vision of the engineering program was brought together with a cohort of the university and the community together. And the construction of that School of Engineering is now underway. And now the support from partners like NAFAC, GPA, SSFM International, and other private and public organizations, it's been amazing, the support. And why? It's because they realize that we need it here on Guam. They provide scholarship, paid internship that is going to lead to directly, gainfully employing these graduates. And they're showcasing their desire that we need homegrown engineering professionals from our local community. And a lot of times, the young men and women here on Guam would never, ever think that it would be a possibility that they're an engineer. Guess what? Now, it's a reality. They have scholarships. They have a school of engineering. There's going to be a building very soon. And so this is just some of the examples of what the university is doing to actually provide that vision and then push towards that vision. The nursing program also stands as an example of UOG's impact, graduating over 200 and I think it's 255, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 10 years. Just one nurse here on island is so impactful. We had to fly traveling nurses here and which cost us quite a bit. 255 nurses from our program. It's so amazing. Our nursing alumni make 34% of Guam's hospital nurses today. And in light of the nursing shortage globally, it's just amazing work that we need to just keep doing. And with the nursing annex, we want to provide more capacity so we can continue to train up more locally grown nurses so we can continue to help our community. I'm going to skip over all the things that President Enriquez says, because. So, in conclusion, dear senators, as you deliberate our budget requests, I implore you to recognize the tangible returns and the impact that your investment to the university has made. And we continue to ask you for your support as we carry on a really good work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Who's next?
I will have our student leader, Kiana Ardiente, to present.
Buenas and hafade, mabuhay ali, ran anim, kewo iakwe, mogatin, kasalelie, and hello. My name is Kiana Ardiente, and I currently serve as a senator for the 62nd Student Government Association, and now vice president-elect for 63rd Student Government Association. At the heart of our plea is a simple yet profound request, $44.9 million. It's not merely a number, but a lifeline, a catalyst for transformation. This funding is not just about numbers and figures, it's about investing in our future, in our dreams, and in the legacy we leave behind. But our plea goes beyond academics. It extends to the very fabric of student life, our dormitories. I have taken it upon myself to immerse in the dormitory experience, despite not being a dorm resident myself. This decision stemmed from a profound desire to gain firsthand insight into the challenges and opportunities faced by our dormitory residents. Our dorm students are the heartbeat of our campus community, and they deserve nothing but the best. Through this personal initiative, I have come to understand the intricacies of dormitory life, the joys, the struggles, and the aspirations of those who call it home. I have listened to the stories, shared their triumphs, and empathized with their concerns. This immersive experience has provided me with invaluable perspectives that have shaped my advocacy efforts moving forward. I stand here today to emphasize that while our dormitories serve as vital hubs of student life, there is undeniable room for improvement. From infrastructure deficiencies to safety concerns, there are a myriad areas that warrant our attention and action. As a community, we must collectively acknowledge these shortcomings and commit ourselves to effecting positive change. Our university's successes hinges on the caliber of educators who inspire, mentor, and guide our students towards their full potential. With sufficient funding, we can offer competitive salaries that reflect the expertise and dedication of our faculty members. By doing so, we not only recognize their contributions, but also incentivize their continued commitment to our institution. Senators, esteemed members of the board, and fellow students, let's not lose sight of the fact that the primary beneficiaries of this funding will be our students, each and every one of us gathered here today. This funding isn't just about numbers, once again, on a budget sheet. It's about ensuring that we, the students of the University of Guam, have access to the best possible resources and facilities. We deserve classrooms where we can learn comfortably, laboratories where we can conduct experiments safely, and libraries where we can explore the vast expanse of human knowledge with ease. Senators, when you allocate this funding, you're not just investing in buildings and infrastructures, you're investing in us. Guam's next generation of leaders, innovators, and change makers. This $44.9 million is not just an investment, It's a down payment on our future, whether we aspire to be nurses, teachers, chemists, archaeologists, or even future members of the Guam legislature. We are the future of this island. By providing us with the tools, resources, and opportunities we need to succeed, you're not just investing in our individual futures, you're investing in the future of Guam itself. You're investing in a brighter, more prosperous tomorrow for all of us. We are counting on you. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Anita, anyone else going to testify, speak?
No, we're just here to address questions.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I just want to go back just a little bit, real short comment. Everybody talks about 44.9 million, but if everybody, you all have a copy of this, right? I think your presentation is short 11 million. Because if you look at the number, look at the bottom of it. After the 44.9 is 55. 56. I just want to make sure we have an understanding because not only we just do the numbers and keep it simple because I know Mike's probably looking at me like he knows I know the numbers. But number one, I'm an alumni of the University of Guam. Okay, I started there when the tuition was first 2 years was free. In 1975, I don't think anybody here was going to school in 75. Probably Mike was. I don't think anybody else was. So I do support UOG. Let me make that very clear. I support it. But I've got to work with the numbers. Remember that this committee is about the whole government of Guam. And if I can get your budget to go get as close as I can going up and make sure that I take care of the other parts after the 44.9, you got the WERI, you got the agriculture development, you got the northern southern soil, you got the student center, the engineers. We got to take care of that one because that's, if I'm correct, that's you guys got a loan. You got to make sure it's paid, right? But that's not part of your 44, okay? We got the G3 initiative and the C grant that brings in what, $20 million? That's not part of your 44, okay? I'm just trying to be very careful. UOG Press Publishing, 100,000 is not a lot of money. Guam Culture Repository, 2 million. It's not part of the 44. I'm just trying to be very careful how your presentation was great, okay? Don't get me wrong, I like it. I like it because you're only trying to get 44. But at the end of the day, I think your focus really is 55 or 56. And just knowing that, I'm like, and I'm going to look at my colleagues and say, who we're going to cut? I want to support, and I want to find a way to support UOG. How much money was received in ARP, and did anything go to fix your CIP or anything for the university other than the students? Did you get any ARP money that can help fix the air condition, fix the schools? I drive by UOG a lot.
Yes, I'll have our Vice President for Finance address that.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Chair, for the question. I'm Randy Weekend, Vice President, Admin and Finance. So we had the opportunity with our federal aid to claim for some lost revenues. So we had, right after the pandemic started, we had a lot of people withdrawing. We had dorm students leaving the dorms. The sales at the bookstore went way down. We were able to claim for that. We took that money and we put a lot of that back into capital improvements for the university. We bought a lot of air conditioners. We did some building repairs. So we were able to take some of that money and put that back into.
How much money did you get and how much did you spend? Let's start with that, because you're telling me what you did, but you didn't tell me the numbers.
The total we got, was it 17?
You got 17 million?
sorry, she's going to pull it up. Just 1 second.
Okay, because when I asked how much money you got from ARP, don't tell me what you did and how you got it, but just how much you get and how much did you use for the University of Guam, other than supporting the students, okay? Because I understand that part. I want to make sure the students are getting help, especially on the tuition and the dormer. I want to make sure. But I want to make sure that everything is tracking. Because, I mean, I saw in the newspaper today, there's a lot of money at the governor's site on ARP. I'd like to see some money flow to you and help you fix whatever you need to get fixed. Help you in what we can't give you in the budget so that we can meet somewhere halfway.
Yeah, so the governor did give us, as costs were increasing in the aftermath of the pandemic, we went to the governor, we got a $7.1 million commitment from her pandemic funds to help with the cost of the student center. So that's an example. She also made a contribution for the nursing building. So we have had some money come in from the governor's office from the money that she's received for the pandemic-related funds. I guess it's more like I guess it's a little over 20 million that we got in total pandemic funding. Several million of that went directly back to students. We gave some direct funding. We gave some tuition rebates. So that brings us down to about 15 million, and 15 million was kind of used to help us get through that time. And as I said earlier, we did repurpose some of that to go into capital issues.
And the only reason I'm asking that, Randy, is because the president said that she wants to repair elevators. I'd love to see elevators repaired. I love to see the classrooms that don't have air conditioning that are down, get them repaired. That should have been an easy one for ARP money to be used. Fix it so students can move around. Fix it so the learning environment is maintained at the highest level, okay? And I'll ask, I have several questions more, but I want to be able to get it around to my colleagues. And my oversight chair for the university said she will be at the end. I'm going to pass on to Senator Duenas. Do you have any comments or questions for the panel? And then followed by my vice chair, Senator Telotari.
Sijusmasi, Mr. Chairman, and yes, I do. First of all, I want to thank all of you for a very thorough and very well done presentation of your budget request. I also want to thank many of your faculty, Dr. Enriquez, who graced me with an opportunity to sit down and go over this budget request. And if any of you need to take a tour of the University of Guam, make sure you have Mark Mendiola with the Sea Grant Institution four-wheeler. He will take you on a beautiful ride. He's an excellent captain. So I just make that recommendation highly. I think that this is a reasonable presentation, and I'm going to do everything within my power to support it. I have to say that it was immensely gratifying to be up there and see the excitement and the buildings and the construction, as well as many of the programs that are ongoing. You discussed sustainability. Mark took me through all of those different things you're doing to protect the environment with repurposing paper and the like, and also, you know, in terms of being able to do methods of sustainable farming. That's just one of the many things that I was able to experience there. I wanted to also mention that I had an opportunity to present a resolution to a relative of mine who recently retired from GPA. And the two young people that, I don't know, for some reason wanted to make their way up to me, told me their story of how they graduated from the engineering program. And you're exactly right in your presentation. I don't think these individuals might have even believed that they could do it, but also probably wouldn't have believed that they would do it on Guam. And now they are gainfully employed at GPA. And I'm understanding now, and I want you to discuss this as I lead into this, Dr. Enriquez. not only Guam Power Authority, but other institutions that I'm familiar with, friends of mine that are just grappling for engineers, I'm hearing are knocking down your doors to see what you can do. My understanding is GPA is about 30% of its workforce is going to be retiring within the next 5 to 8 years. So please let's discuss that as one of the main elements that you are doing to produce professionals in our community.
Sejus Masi, Senator Duenas, Hunganade said, there are many organizations who are recognizing that the University of Guam has the capacity to work with them as partners early on, recognizing through attrition, retirement, resignations, people moving off island, that there is a gap in their primary workforce. So when the Naval Facilities Marianas approached us to fill such gaps, not just in civil engineering, but also in construction management, in finance and accounting, HR, we were thrilled. And so they recognized after so many years, because we knocked on their doors about a decade ago, that, hey, if you come to us early on, you won't be repeating yourself every single year saying, gosh, we just don't have the talent on island. Had you come to us 10 years ago, you would have had them in key positions at your organization. So when we signed that memorandum of understanding, then immediately Cabras Marine Corporation came to us and wanted the same deal. Then we heard from the Guam Power Authority. We also heard from the Guam Waterworks Authority. Some early movers such as SFFM International, which is an engineering firm based in Hawaii, they set up a local office and hired local managers. And because of the internship and scholarship awards since several years ago, they were able to enjoy hiring from our inaugural cohort. And I believe they've hired 3 so far. And it was just delightful to hear one of their initial hires, one of the 5 young ladies from the inaugural cohort be promoted to engineer 2. And so we think about that workforce development with regard to building the middle class. As you know, in any economy, when you build up that middle class, it has a wonderful multiplier effect to raise the quality of life and to keep people here. So we see the university's role in helping to do that by giving them access to better paying jobs, by building that middle class. Then we start to see that multiplier effect in terms of paying taxes, returning it all back to the economy through spending. And we're just excited to see that trajectory. I will be speaking to the Guam Chamber of Commerce soon, and I'm excited to see who else is going to climb on that train to make us a vital partner towards workforce development.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with SSFM. Joe Duenas is doing a wonderful job over there. And just so that the people of Guam understand how critical this is the fact that NAVFAC, and they're not being shy about it. They're competing for our people now.
Yes.
They're going after our people, and we're going to have to match the ability to produce the talent here to be able to sustain ourselves going forward. And as you said, those are mortgage jobs, those are middle class to upper and higher to ensure that for sustainability. Dr. Enriquez, I think it's important that we frame this. So I need probably your finance people or yourself to discuss the fact that your prior budgets were not meeting pre-COVID levels. Can you explain that? Because as I went through your budget, I think your general fund request is basically just slightly higher than pre-COVID levels in terms of your request. I think that's important to understand as well.
Yes, thank you very much, Senator Duenas, for recognizing that. The University of Guam has always been forthright in making its full request. We, out of respect to our colleagues and recognizing that we're not just all about teaching in degree programs, we have a threefold mission to deliver this public value as a land-grant university, now Sea Grant. And recognizing it's not just instruction and training, but also it's about the research, the scholarship, responsibly reporting the reality of what we call place-based contributions in the data, knowing what we know that will ultimately feed into policy development or policy implications, planning purposes, among other things, as well as having the right kinds of data to go after more funding that is external to our government coffers. And so we think about being really transparent in what the request is. We never get our request, but we're always grateful to what our senators are able to support in this regard. But IAD, it's been short, it's been short every single fiscal year. And so we recognize as well the challenges to our economy. When the pandemic hit, I mean, it impacted many businesses, many homes. It impacted our tax revenue base. We understood that. We understand that we're competing, with all these vital services in terms of public health, public safety, among other things. But in the true spirit of our purpose for being able to, I always say to our federal partners, Lastima, we have all this talent here. What we need to do is leverage all that talent and go after additional funds so that ultimately it feeds back into the community, so that the community ultimately is the beneficiary of what we do. But yes, we continue to bring, I know that people balk when we come forward. I said, but it's no different than what we've been doing every fiscal year.
So I just got two more questions, but I want to lay the foundation for this. Outside of the School of Engineering, obviously you have these several other buildings, and they're going to,
Yes.
have a great impact, but they're going to also require faculty.
Yes.
And I was talking to your staff, and we kind of came to an understanding where it's very reasonable that as you build out in these facilities, your natural organic growth will return on that investment in terms of the students that will be availing of those programs, with the buildings, the population growing and the like, that this is the real investment right now, because what is good is the buildings if we're not going to staff them out and make sure that we can attract the talent to come to our schools and stay on Guam.
Right. So the late Dr. Margaret Hattori Uchima, to whom the School of Health is named after, she recognized the need to expand the facilities to accommodate more nursing majors. We estimate to accommodate 50 nursing majors as opposed to the current 25 to 35. With the Water and Environmental Research Institute of the Western Pacific, WERI, with the expanded lab capacity, we will be able to do more water quality testing, among others. I heard from the head of the Guam Solid Waste Authority. He says, there's lost opportunity, there's tax revenue leakage, there's fee revenue leakage because we just don't have the capacity. So we're very excited about what the new WERI facility will be able to do for our community at large. And the School of Engineering goes without saying. You say the chairwoman said if you build it, they will come. But the new Student Success Center, Ayade, Taza Cafeteria, Taza Student Center. Here we have a wonderful new facility that's going to serve as an attraction. People ask us about our enrollment. We finally stabilized our enrollment since the pandemic and the negative effects of Typhoon Mawar. And it's now going towards an upward trajectory. We're excited about what the future holds, and we're looking to enrollment growth as early as this fall 2024. Thank you.
So as I lead to at least my final question for this round, I want to point out that, I mean, it's very clear that this is simply an investment that's needed now. Sometimes we say build it and they will come. I think the opposite to that is don't build it and they'll leave. So, there's a real balance act that we have to get into here, and like I said, I'm going to advocate. I wanted to mention that many of us in this body, which I still think is particularly in our economy right now, it is right for us to say, don't raise tuition. But it's also, we gotta back that up, because the bottom line is that, we know already that students are, $100, $200 away from saying, forget it, I gotta go work, I can't continue. So we can't do that. So as I look at your budget and I look at the pie chart that you gave us, obviously, if your net tuition is 23%, basically less than a quarter, and other institutions, I'm sure, are much higher than that when it comes to what subsidizes their university. I mean, just discuss the fact that this is the way to continue to subsidize when we ask you not to raise tuition, but then in the converse to that, you got to get your resources from somewhere. Can you expand on that?
Yes, thank you very much. This pie chart gave us an opportunity to get, to represent what the true impact of our net tuition revenue is. It is 23% of our total operating budget. And the federal match of 3% really is the land grant match. For every dollar spent on the faculty and staff that relates to land grant, we pull in an extra dollar. And so that's a wonderful return. That 1% that you're seeing is from auxiliary services like the bookstore, the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse, revenue generated through the Guam, the global learning engagement with the English Adventure Program. But 1% is still, we're trying. What you don't see in this equation is our plan for a really robust, comprehensive capital campaign. And the target is $50 million to support, scholarships, other student success initiatives, capital projects, preventative and deferred maintenance, and other strategic growth initiatives that will serve as local matches for other federal dollars that we go for. So what you see in this pie chart really only reflects 4 different levers that sustain our operations. And if you notice, the general operation request of $44.9 million represents 73%. The outer circles represent our 3-fold mission. And, again, to reiterate, it's not just workforce development, right? But it's also what we do in terms of research and extension work that has a lot of value-based outcomes for our community. Thank you.
One final piece I'd like you to expand on that was in your presentation that a lot of people don't understand sometimes when they look at the numbers, and that is that the grants that you bring in, that's not revenue to the university. That's that you get a management fee, administrative fee to be able to do that, but you're actually getting that money out into the community through nonprofits and various other programs. That's not revenue to the university other than being able to sustain the staff and the management and the program that you're putting forward. But I think it's important that we understand that as well.
Yes, so the investment of federal dollars that we receive, we're talking multiple millions of dollars. Marine Lab alone brought in $23 million. We saw a recent Next Generation grant to build up the capacity for just beginning in the K-12 system for students in these, science, technology, engineering, I believe arts and mathematics, not just here on island, but in the region. It's building that local workforce capacity in those particular areas. And $10 million is not small change, and that's just coming from the efforts of a few faculty. It doesn't take into consideration for one person whom we pay for out of the local appropriation at the Center for Excellence for Development, Disability, Education, Research, and Services, or CEDARS, the multiple millions of dollars, over $50 million across many years to help our families, our individuals who are impacted by developmental disabilities, the training, the supplies, all of that. And that's just a very small example. We have many others. Dr. Romina King, who's been a rock star, leveraging federal dollars for drone technology. And you saw what the drone technology was able to do for us after Typhoon Mawar, and bring that particular information and research that helps to guide, help to guide in part our island's recovery. And so Dr. Margaret Hattori, Uchima School of Health, has brought in over $10 million. And you saw the resulting effects, the impact, training thousands of people for a multiple of different areas in the area of healthcare. So those are just small examples out of many. What you see on this pie chart is not all of them. They couldn't fit, and it's just amazing. It's through the hardworking efforts and passion and commitment of our faculty, our staff, and our administrators that you see a lot of these efforts coming in. Very, very tiny amount of those grants go towards operations. We have to hire people to manage in accounting, HR, because, that's a huge portfolio of funds to which our local capacity cannot support.
You know, in closing, I have two wonderful nurses in my life. One of them is the way better half of the two of us that we are. But I hear it every day. The bottom line is that even, I think, when we come up to GMH's budget, first of all, GRMC has made it very competitive for nurses to want to stay on Guam, because they set the bar. GMH is following through. When they did their 18%, they had to do it on the other side as well. So we are now building a real return on investment for our nurses to say, okay, I'll stay here and not leave. And like you said, worldwide shortages are just exacerbated right now to an nth degree. But I would like to say this. I bet you when we get the numbers on travel nurses to include even GRMC, and that affects their ability to run their operation, if we were able to just trim that down to 0 in the next 2 to 3 years, you would way outdo what this request is right now. So your expansion to 50 is amazing, and we pray that those nurses, as they come out, will be encouraged to continue to stay on Guam and serve our community. That's all I have for now, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Reyes. I'd like to also recognize another colleague that has joined us, Senator Roy Canata. Madam President, you are selling the university real good. Thank you.
It's not hard. Thank you.
Senator Telo Tadiwe, do you have any questions or comments for the panel, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning to my colleagues, and most especially, good morning to the University of Guam. Thank you. Everyone, too, who's sitting in the back that's here to support. You know, it's important that you're here as well, and we see you and recognize you. Thank you. Yes, I see you, Glenn. No doubt that since you've taken over, Dr. Enriquez, at the University of Guam, there's been a lot of house cleaning going on, keeping tabs on who's doing what now, and how you are, what you say to me all the time, thinking outside the box. It's kind of hard thinking outside the box when you come with this $17 million more request, or is it 17.681 more of a request, $1 million request for your budget. That's not really thinking outside of the box, considering, you know, the things have gone, I understand things have gone up, but I was hoping that you could kind of live within your means from the last year's budget. And like our chairman said, we're going to have to cut somewhere, another agency, if we're going to fulfill the obligation that you're requesting for. So this is substantially large increase compared to last year. And then that's why I went over to the chairman and asked him, I go, which one are we looking at, the 44 million or the 56 million? So I'm going to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of that part and find out, of that 56 million, which amount is coming from the general fund? Because does the University of Guam get actually any funding from any of the special funds? Territorial Trust Fund or anything like that? Do you receive any kind of funding from any of those special funds? Randy?
So the money that we get for the buildings has theoretically been designated to come from those. But from general operations or anything.
Can you talk directly into the mic? They're already signaling me that you need to get closer to your mic. Okay.
Yeah, so for general operations money that we can really use throughout the university, we don't get funds from anywhere other than the general
okay,
fund.
so you don't get, okay, so you don't get any special funds. Okay. See, that's where we can kind of look into, you know, availing yourself of that. You know, we give it to the DOE, you know, they get money from a special fund. And this is kind of money that you can keep an eye on and help be consistent with providing funding for certain programs. So I know that you go after grants left and right. Hopefully, you know, the box thinking is going after those grants to put more money in. By the way, ARP funding, I think you're only getting, you only had 74,000 from ARP. Based on the March ARP funding, I think it was only 74,000 for the University of Guam. This is the ARP. Now, all the other funds that you got from, you know, PUA or any of the others are different. On the other hand, the repository received about $3.4 million. Now, does that come out of your budget, the University of Guam? So whatever we give the University of Guam, a chunk of that is given to the repository?
Yeah, so the repository was moved to the Guam Museum, and we have been in an MOU with them to help stand it up for a 3-year period. And so that's really not a university expense. That's something we're trying to do on behalf of the Guam Museum.
But you're requesting here you're requesting $2,087,000 for the repository.
Yep.
So why are you requesting funding for it if they're like separate and apart and you have an MOU with them? And especially because they received $3.4 million. And by the way, the end of this, they have still left $1.6 million left that they haven't spent or encumbered. So I'm wondering why in your budget of the 56 that you have $2 million requesting.
Yeah, so again, this is just, this is not university, this is a Guam Museum project.
So you shouldn't
we're
be
just
asking
doing it
for
on
any money
behalf
for
of
them,
what
right?
they had asked us to include. There's really no other place to request for the funds.
I'd like to respond to that.
Sure,
Thank
sure.
you. Thank
Sure,
you very
Dr.
much.
Enriquez.
But yeah, that's a legitimate request. When we received a letter that the University of Guam had to transfer the Guam Cultural Repository to the Department of Chamorro Affairs, the Department of Chamorro Affairs, we were told that by year 3, we had to put in the operating expenses within UOG's budget request. And so after that 3rd year, we are to relinquish completely any funding, any fiscal responsibility for that. There's still a little bit of ARP money that we were going to throw into that operating cost need. And as you know, we're still within the FY 2024 budget, so whatever funds are still reflected within the Guam Cultural Repository.
Yeah, it's
on their
1.6
books.
million.
Right. So I guess that will let it ride till the September 30th closeout of 2024.
Right.
So our request is to begin October 1st, 2025, which is that last year responsibility that we've been told we needed to put in the request to operate the Guam Cultural Repository.
Sounds to me like that needs to be revisited because they received $3.some million from ARP funding, and for the University of Guam to take money out of your budget, it's just not fair. It doesn't sound right. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we can save some money there and take away that $2 million that's in your budget from that $56 million. So I'll work with the oversight chair and look at that, of course, and get with you. And if there's any kind of legislation that takes you away from having to obligate yourself to that, we'll do it, because they're definitely rolling in money of $1.6 million they can't even spend. Doesn't make any sense. So the other question I had was the C grant and the G3. I think some funding. Is there any opportunity that they can get funding elsewhere instead of having to take it out of your budget? This is grants out there that can fund this G3 and.
Right. So thank you very much. That's a good question. Because of our C grant institutional status, like our land grant institutional status, where we're required to give a local match. That is why we have $500,000 reflected in the special appropriation, the special appropriation ask to fulfill that local match.
But can you also, I'm sorry to interrupt you, I know what you're alluding to on this one, but can that money also come from the, what is the fund that you guys have? It sets aside money from tuition. It doesn't come from the general fund. There's another account that you have from tuition. Is there another fund that you have in your agency that is the tuition funding that comes there? It goes into another account. It doesn't go into the account that general fund. It's not mixed with the general fund.
Yeah, our net tuition, Madam Senator,
Yeah.
goes to support our local operations. And that's in that particular pie chart, that's what you're seeing, that 23% in the green color code. Yeah, so that's where it's that's where it goes into. I don't, to my knowledge, to our knowledge, there is no separate fund out of our tuition for that purpose.
Okay, I'll just move on because it's something I'm trying to eliminate, and we can, I understand the 50% matching, but it doesn't have to be from general fund money. As long as it's given to the University of Guam, you can have that match. The other question I have with regards to bipartisan infrastructure through the Bureau of Statistics and Plans, have you sought any opportunity for funding there for the University of Guam, for any of your capital improvement projects?
Are you referring to the BEAD funding that they've got?
The bipartisan infrastructure. There's the ARP funding, which is separate, and then you have the bipartisan infrastructure. Some are competitive, and some are non-competitive. Have you sought, okay, my recommendation is you look at, go to BSP, they have the bipartisan infrastructure under that, and that's like $115 million, you know, for the opportunity for Guam to have. So any kind of improvements for the students, you know, as far as their student center is concerned. And Kiana, thank you for your testimony, by the way. It was very inspiring. It was good. Is this first time testifying at the legislature?
No, Madam Senator.
Okay. Well, it was good, and I appreciate your testimony. The other is, what is your speaking of students, what is your student enrollment the beginning of this year versus what it was 3 years ago?
So I don't have the exact numbers. If you're speaking pre-COVID, our enrollment was roughly about 2,900 to 3,000. It was the highest level that 2018. During the pandemic, I'm sorry, here we go.
Good, got a chart.
There's the chart, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so 3 years ago would have been 2021, yeah, 3,105. And currently, when we started this particular academic year, is almost 2,900 students. And so the plan is to raise enrollment by another 400. So we're hoping to get back to 3,200 in this upcoming academic year. And it's, as you know, we've launched 3 additional graduate programs separate and apart from the new Master of Accountancy, which was launched over 1 year ago. We have the Master's in Data Science, as well as the Master's in Library Information Science, and the new Doctor of Education in Instructional and Academic Leadership. So those alone will bring the numbers back by 100. Dean Jones at the School of Business and Public Administration has committed to the challenge of raising our enrollment by 200. So, you know, we figure that the rest of the campus will follow suit.
What about before COVID, 2019? What was the enrollment in 2019?
Okay, 2019 was about 3,500.
And now you're sitting at 2,900. You're sitting at 2,900 right now.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay. Have you noticed any changes in the enrollment from outer island individuals versus the local individuals? What is the ratio now?
Well, the indicator is usually the occupancy within our residence halls or dormitories. And, you know, never mind what happened during the pandemic and the Typhoon Mawar, but we're up, you know, we're back up to almost full occupancy, ranging anywhere from 180 students. The maximum is about 200. We allow for some swing space for international students to come here on the short-term, English Adventure program.
So then would you say that the increase is basically from those Outer Islands?
The transfer students, Madam Senator, from the Palau Community College, the Northern Marianas College, the College of the College of the Marshall Islands, and the College of Micronesia, FSM, do come in either straight after high school or as transfer students from those two-year colleges.
And many of them are not in the dormitories, too, if you were to do a count.
Yes,
You know, it's
some of
not
them are
just on the
staying with
dorm.
family members, so, you know, outside of the occupancy where we don't track those numbers.
Does the University of Guam receive any kind of funds donated to the University of Guam from either, you know, Chuuk or Ponape or Palau or all those areas? Do you receive any kind of funding at all?
Their state governments provide scholarships to these students. Without those state funded support, there's just no way. It'll
But
be
nothing
too-
else?
None, no.
In your budget bill, Randy, you have on the staffing pattern, I don't know if you do the staffing pattern, but I noticed there are vacant positions. And in those vacant positions, none of them are incorporated in your budget. Is that true? Okay, so you made sure that these are all live bodies that's in your budget right now?
For the vacancies, we took the total and we took 50% of that and put that in the budget.
Also this.
So we're assuming that we'll be filling them through the
Okay,
year.
so you are incorporating empty spaces, 50% of those.
Yes. Some of these individuals have left, you know, mid fiscal year, but they still are counted as vacancies.
Can I get that number? So the 50% you're talking about on vacancies? Can we get that number when you get a chance? I don't know if you have it there. I appreciate that.
The numbers.
I noticed that we talked about the School of Nursing, the School of Health. You know, one of your greatest pride and joys that, you know, that we all look forward to helping improve and doing what we can. But I noticed that that vacancy for the dean, Margaret Hattori's position, I guess, is not been filled. It still says vacant.
Madam Senator, we did hire Dr. Yvette Polino. She has been fully, you know, onboarded in that capacity, and that was just a few months ago. So,
but I noticed that she is on the staffing pattern of the School of Health as a assistant professor, associate professor.
She was on the faculty as full professor.
A professor, and
Yes.
now you've created.
And she competed for that position, and
She got the
and
job.
she was fully appointed. Yes.
Well, congratulations to
Yes.
her.
Thank
So now
you.
that you have, but I noticed that, is she here? Oh, hi, can you stand up? Hey. Thank you. I mean, you have huge shoes to fill, but I'm sure that you're going to bring a good perspective, fresh eyes, new ideas. Margaret was amazing, and I'm sure you're going to do amazing stuff. Because we're going to keep an eye on you and watch you do it. No pressure, no pressure. But congratulations. But I do notice that in Dr. Hattori's position, on the vacancy, it says vacant and there's no salary. I mean, I'm pretty sure that with Ms. Polino's position, it's going to go up. So it's going to be a different in salary, correct? Okay, it's not reflected in the budget bill. So we need to make sure that's reflected, that she's getting paid what she deserves, not her previous amount. So that's going to change. You see that, Randy? It's on the back. Okay, I'm going to move on because I know we're going into almost 2 hours here, so don't want to go over that. Randy, can you tell me more about your fixed assets detail listing that I have here, the fixed asset? Can you kind of explain to me what this listing is about? And is this something that you are obligated to ensure that is paid out every year?
Yeah, so we, I thought we had been requested that, but she was just saying it's not a requirement. So
Okay.
I guess we were doing that just voluntarily, but
I like transparency. It's
we,
good.
yeah, we keep track of every fixed asset that we have, every piece of equipment, and then we go through an inventory process every year to to make sure those are still there, still working. We'll remove anything that's either obsolete or broken. So that's
It's
our
just
list of fixed
equipment?
equipment.
Okay, so this is not because it's added into your budget. So you're just showing what you have there and the cost of it?
Yes.
This is not like additional expenses for anything?
No. Okay, so she's saying BBMR required that. So
Okay, BB Mark required it, I see. It's good information, though, kind of keep tabs on everything. I think it's a really good report. I appreciate this. Other than that, I think I'm pretty much done. I mean, we're going to try and see what we can, do. Thinking outside the box is, doing more, working with less. But here, your increase is quite substantial. But we'll take away the repository. That's $2 million down. How much more to go? $15 million more to go. Online lapses. How are you with your cybersecurity, your security department, your IT department? How's that going? I mean, we've heard people getting hacked. I heard University of Guam was hacked at one time. So what's that department looking like?
well, again, that's something we've been affected from the budget cuts and things being tight. We're doing the best we can to try
Okay,
to.
budget cuts. This is a place where we don't cut the budget. It is too important. You're going to be held hostage. Cyberware that's the latest, in infiltrating any place. So what is your budget that you need in your IT department to ensure the security of your information, your data, your payroll, all that's important?
Yeah, that's what we're asking for. So that's in our budget. is
What part?
What we're asking
What
for.
section? Operations or
Yes.
what section of your budget? Contractual services? I think that should always be separate. Moving forward, Dr. Enriquez, may I make a recommendation?
Thank you, Madam
mean,
Senator. We'll
it-
take that into consideration.
Yeah, make it separate and apart, just on that. Are you working with the Office of OTEC right now? Are they overseeing the security of your software and
They're not overseeing us.
you're doing it yourself?
Yes.
Oh, gosh, even more so. Do you have a contract with a company to oversee your programs? And
We've met with some private contractors to get recommendations and review what we're doing,
Yeah.
making sure that.
could I ask, Mr. Chair, my last question, because you know how I am with cybersecurity. It's so important. I mean, this is the latest. People are hacking and keeping us hostage. We saw what happened, during Marwa and how everything went down. And that's exactly what's going to happen they're going to be very crippled. Not just the faculty, but I'm talking about the students. And I'm encouraging you to also continue to do online services, online classes for them. Our population has gone down from 175 down to 155. So we are seeing a lower amount of tax base for our agency, so we have to be careful. But if you can, please email me sometime this week. I'd like it separate and apart on your IT department at the University of Guam and how much you need, how many staff is there, what you have currently.
Okay,
But the ideal,
It's page 83, but this is hard to read, and so we will send you a more readable version.
my intention is to put in the budget bill to ensure that money stays in that department of the University of Guam, and it's separate and apart, cannot be transferred out. This is something that I guess we're going to have to do ourselves to ensure that you're doing the right thing as we move into even scarier times. So appreciate that. Of course, all the hard work that you're doing. Congratulations again to Ms. Paulino there, Mrs. Paulino. And of course, my door is always open. Anita, I see you every Friday night at Roy's. If you have any questions, please feel free to come up and speak to me. If there's anything else I can do. And good luck to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tyree. That's Hilton Roy's, right? Oh, okay. I'm just checking. Senator Cananta, do you have any questions or comments for the panel?
No, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to thank you guys for all being present here. And very happy to see the younger generation testifying. Keep up the good work. I'm always proud of you. And I look forward to working with the chair and the finance chair as well to see what we can do for the University of Guam, okay? Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Viva Tritons.
Mr. Chair,
Viva.
Mr. Chair, if I just have one more question. Your lapses, how much funding and lapses do you have left over? Are you anticipating to have left over for FY24? Any lapses? And did you have any lapses last year? Oh, I'm sorry, in the mic? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. We spend everything we get. We don't have lapses.
You didn't have lapses in FY23?
No.
Good answer.
Okay.
Because if you had lapses and your elevator's not fixed, Randy, I'm going to look at you and says, I don't know what you're doing. Okay? I'm going to leave it alone there. But before I ask the oversight chair to ask her question, the Guam Cultural Repository, you mentioned you're required because of the MOU to put money in? We're not going to put money in there. I'm going to tell you that straight up. I'll work with CAW and ask them, if you need the money, then you're not going to get it from UOG. You ask us, and we'll give you, we'll put it in their budget. But it shouldn't come out of your budget. But why is it? Because of an MOU requires you to budget for that? And it's in your campus? Maybe you should be charging them lease.
Yeah, no, we just submitted a budget on behalf of the Cultural Repository operation, so it's not coming out of our budget.
Do you have the same sheet I got?
Yes.
Okay, what does it say there?
It has a line item for
Okay.
GCR, but
Be careful, Randy. Okay, we're both looking at the same sheet. It shows 2 million. That's why Senator Tyree we brought it up.
Yeah, just.
We're just going to strike it out, okay?
I look. Okay.
I don't want the president to deal with that 2 million, and we'll figure that out with the CAHA folks. You mentioned there's an MOU.
Mr. Chairman, it's a letter. It's a letter requiring us. Yeah, there's an MOU. The Guam Cultural Repository sits on Government of Guam land. The University of Guam doesn't own it. We thought we did, and so a lot of sweat equity went into it, and then we were reminded that it did not belong to the university. However, we were asked to help stand it up, to help manage it, but at the same time, it will belong to the Department of Chamorro Affairs, and will be managed, I think, in concert with the Guam Museum. And so that's our current understanding. We were asked to put the budget request in our budget as a special, as a special appropriation for FY 2025.
Okay,
so we're just doing what we were asked to do.
And who asked you, BBMR, the governor's office?
Yeah, it was the governor's
Okay,
office.
well then we'll do you a favor. We'll just strike it out.
I
Okay?
okay.
You don't need to worry about that. We're not going to give you $2 million to give to them. If they need the $2 million, they need to ask us. Okay, and that's the way the budget works. I don't want that in your burden. I'm trying to figure out a way to give you guys your budget, okay?
Thank you.
And I'm going to look at some of the things here that shouldn't be here.
Thank you.
But it's not on your property. Are you serious? It says entering University of Guam and building's right to the right. How is that not?
Years ago, multiple presidents and governors ago, the ink did not reach paper for the official transfer. It never did. And of course, we were surprised to learn that not too long ago. And as a result of that, yes, it is on the campus footprint, but apparently there was never any formal transfer as we thought there was.
Okay, then just take your property lines and confirm what you got. And if you don't have it in law, then let us know so we can introduce it and we can make sure you have it. Okay? And then let's settle this so that... Okay. I already said I'm an alumni of UOG. I take personal to what goes on in UOG. I want to make sure you guys keep what you got.
Thank you.
The other concern I have is that, Senator Tyree and I in the past, we're trying to figure out a way how we can figure out how do we go back to what I went through in 75, tuition free for the first 2 years. First 2 years, freshman and sophomore, period. Not somebody that's got a master's to go back or somebody's got a bachelor's to go back. No. I'd like to know how many students are coming in that are freshmen, because you know that number just rolls over to the junior or the sophomore. I mean, maybe you can tell me exactly how many students that is and what would that cost be if that was ever promoted. Because I know Senator Tideway wanted to do that, and we were trying to figure out the numbers there. So while you're here, I'd like to ask that question. Maybe you can give me that answer.
I need to run my spreadsheet analysis on that. Well, we take it, we don't just have degree programs, Mr. Chairman. We do have many other aspects of the university in terms of its faculty and staff capacity. And so we would have to significantly shrink our operation in order to even go down that path of identifying what it will cost. I think that, you know, when we look at how much it costs per year on a full-time basis for our students, roughly about $7,000. It's still very competitive, very affordable, but as you can see in our chart, it only, you know, with roughly about 2,900 students, bringing in net tuition of $14,585,000, that only represents 23% of our current budget.
But Madam President, the 28 or 2,900 students is all years, right? Freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior.
Yeah, total, yes.
What is the number for freshmen? How many students you have that are freshmen?
Yeah.
That's my question. Because if I'm going to figure out a way how to...
Yeah, about 500 every fall semester is
500
what
students.
we have coming
And 500
in, yes.
times what? What's the cost? 7,000?
Yes.
That comes up to what? 3 million?
Three point, yeah.
Keep it simple, Randy. Don't struggle with math, okay?
3.5.
Thank you. Okay, 3.5. The reason why is because I know that that's ringing on Senator Tideway's ears that 3.5, that comes up to at least 7 million because it's 2 years, right? Because you got to cover the freshmen. So I just want to make sure that we've been trying to figure out how to do this. Because as everybody will promote, don't raise the tuition. Well, we got to step in too and say, when you don't raise the tuition, we got to make sure we figure out a way how to fund you. It's got to work that way. It can't be, don't raise tuition, but we're not going to give you money. Just doesn't make sense. Yes, Madam Chair.
I would just kind of also be aware that if there is a free freshman tuition, that number is going to go incredibly higher. So we just need to be aware of that. So that way we know the capacity of the university and, you know, the faculty, the staff. And I have to just mention this before we end. As a student, and then as an outsider, as a business person looking into the university, and then now as a chairman, I cannot express to you, and I still can't figure out this in my head, the quality of the people in this university is incredible. I was a student, and I benefited from that, and I was like, I'm just beside myself. And as a chairman, as a regent, coming into the university, looking at the numbers and the salary of these PhDs and these doctoral degreed individuals, and not even counting the faculty, but the staff that work throughout the weekend, because sometimes I just want to ask a question and I think I'm going to get an answer on Monday, but I get an answer the weekend. I'm just beside myself. And then I'm like, what's keeping these quality educators here at the university? And I think it's just, the only thing I can think of is just the leadership of what the university has. There's passionate people. And I gotta say, I am beside myself when I see this, and I can't leave here without saying it because I'm going to be done with the chairmanship in October. So I said I'm not gonna forgive myself if I don't say this. It's something super special. I cannot understand how the university is with the world, what's going on with the world right now, where we can't even get qualified people to want to work. And then we have this university that's running an incredible, amazing program for this community. And I'm like, how, I cannot figure out the math, and I'm a financial person. You know, I'm a financial advisor. I cannot figure out, and the only thing I can think of is that there's special people that's running this university, and it's more than money that they're doing it for. It's a passion. So I just wanted to leave you with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam President, I know you're going to comment to that.
Thank you.
It's the love of
yeah.
UOG.
Thank
That's
you,
what it
Madam
is.
Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to go back to the math. Those students who are eligible for full Pell Grant, they get roughly about $7,000. So when we think about the social economic status and what that threshold is for of these incoming freshmen who qualify for full Pell Grant, the difference between those and those who don't have full Pell Grant, we need to calculate that. And then we will arrive at a figure of what that will, you know, what kinds of subsidy, perhaps through the Student Financial Assistance Program, because there is within the law an allowance to give recent graduating high school students a grant of roughly about $500 to maybe $1,000 or $2,000. That's within the current SFAP budget, to which we've not been able to fund because of other obligations with that's by statute within that source of funding. So if we again going back to doing the spreadsheet analysis of what if X percentage of new freshmen were eligible for full Pell Grant of roughly $7,000, you know, and then what is that figure, you know, and perhaps it's prorated because you have those who maybe are only eligible for 50%. So by having students in high school, graduating seniors, complete that FAFSA to help us make that determination, then we can use that data as a basis for calculating what that financial impact could be. And of course, there are other creative things, such as Middle College and the University of Guam, exploring that opportunity of, you know, partnering and perhaps assuming some of those high school operations so that we also get students earlier in that pipeline and avail of what existing funding there is for teachers who could be eligible as adjunct instructors to support that particular type of growth initiative.
Okay, so how many students do you have that are freshmen that are in the Pell Grant?
We have about...
Out of the 500 is how many? You notice how that numbers just play with us, right?
Yeah.
Once you can get it,
yes, we'll have that for you, sir.
then please submit it to me because I'm
And
very
to
curious.
all of our senators, yes.
Yeah, and the reason why is because if that number's dropped, then that 7 million also drops.
Yeah.
And let's figure this out. Because at the same token, just remember that when we say tuition free, it's not just for University of Guam. It also bleeds over to GCC. Mm-hmm. And GCC is a lot cheaper than University of Guam. Yeah. So wherever the student goes, it's to give them an opportunity to get into college.
Yeah, right.
Okay? Maybe the GCC or University of Guam. We want to get them in the education is the most important thing in life. Can't take that away from anybody. Senator Amanda Shelton, your oversight chair, you do your questions and then I'll close. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to hear so much discussion about the free tuition for the first 2 years of college. I know that's something we had a draft bill for maybe 3 years ago, almost. And so if that's something we can include in the budget, I hope that that will help us move toward increasing enrollment and hopefully bringing more of our young people into higher education. And to hear my chair right here very excited about it makes me happy. And he's been whispering in my ear this whole time that we're going to get as close to $44 million, if not at $44 million today. And he's also guaranteed me over the last 2 hours, it's on the record. He's also guaranteed me over the last 2 hours that he will be reporting out Bill 200-37, which is the $1 million for capital improvements for the University of Guam, hopefully in time for our next legislative session. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I really appreciate that. So you know, there's been a lot of talk of love for UOG, and I love UOG just as much as this guy. That's why I went there twice, got 2 degrees, and he said if there is this program that we're going to fund, I can't go back to school. It's only going to be for new students. So I'm happy as long as we can get more students. And Madam President, you've been talking about the affordability of the University of Guam, and we've worked so hard over the last several years to keep it affordable, not to raise tuition, and still at between $6,000 to $7,000 a student in tuition every year. For some families on Guam, that's still not even affordable, right? So whatever we can do to help supplement education, to help us bring more students in, help more students complete their education at the University of Guam. I know all of my colleagues here are supportive of it. Senator Dueñas also said he's going to be watching the chairman very closely to make sure that we get all of these things in the budget. But we hope that at $44 million, that this request will help us hold off any tuition increases in the next, in this next fiscal year, and for us to keep students enrolled at the University of Guam as our only public institution for the region, our only 4-year university, and to really make this investment in the workforce, because we want all of these jobs that are already needing to be filled by skilled professional workers for this long-term improvement for our island. We want to fill them with our local people. You know, every one of us here agrees on that. We want to graduate our local people and put them in these jobs. And so we want to make that investment in the University of Guam. And when we had our meeting with the administration and with student leaders, we're still hearing these issues about students not being able to complete their programs because we don't have enough faculty to give the classes that are necessary for program completion, for degree completion. And so I know that we don't want to hire more people or grow the university beyond what it is today, but it's absolutely necessary because with the amount of faculty that we have, we cannot give the classes that our students need to get their degree. So students are waiting an extra year, an extra 2 years to finish, putting them behind and not getting into the jobs right away when they could be. So I hope that we will be able to fund those positions, Mr. Chair, to keep up with our capital improvements, to keep the students in their seats at the University of Guam, because as you said, Madam President, there is a multiplier effect for our entire community. It raises all of our quality of life. The entire economy of our island is supported by the University of Guam. And so I hope that all of our colleagues, when this comes to the floor, will recognize that. And I'm very happy to see the budget come out with an increase to the SFAP program, our scholarship and financial aid program. We know that we always want to give students more support. We want to help them in any way that we can, and they count on that SFAP program. And we don't want them to stress out, take a semester off, never come back to school. And so to see you also make that investment in your budget, I'm very happy about today. And so, of course, you have my full support for the $44 million. And I want to thank, of course, our student leaders, to the newly elected Vice President, Ardiente, and to your whole Student Government Association, the Board of Regents who's here today, all of our leadership from the University of Guam. Thank you for being here. I think you always have a packed house for your budget. The most, you bring out all of the support. And we thank you because we never know what question's going to come up for which program, so you're always well prepared. And I hope that you will be standing by when if it comes to a fight on the floor, that you will continue to advocate for the University of Guam, as all of us here will. Sijus Masi.
Sijus Masi, Madam Chair, thank you so much always for your support.
She hit it on the dot. I'm supporting UOG. I forgot another question. What is the impact of senior citizens going to the University of Guam is supposed to get free tuition? What's the impact? You can get the information.
We'll get that
'cause
to you.
That's
Yes.
a shortfall that you're
You're
absorbing.
It's, you know, as you know, 55 years and older, There is a registration period for our seniors, and usually it's on a space available basis.
Space available? How can be space available?
There's usually space available now. You can get.
We're not talking about a flight out. We're talking about education.
I know.
I just want to make sure. But, and the reason why I asked that, Madam President, is that so you can identify the costs, so that we know what we need to fund
Yes,
to keep it going.
of course,
Okay.
of course.
And that's why I'm
We appreciate
asking.
it. We'll get that to you as well.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Other than that, there's no one else to present to give any testimony on the budget of the University of Guam. The committee will now close this hearing. Again, I want to thank everyone for attending this hearing and for providing feedback and suggestion. The University of Guam budget hearing is now adjourned. The time now is 11:35. Jesus Masi, please be safe. Viva UOG!
Viva! Yusmasi.